It's been a few months since my last World of T-Shirts video. What's he been up to since then? Well, he's been... In the last video, Josh was heading off to Paris, and many at the time predicted that this would be a sort of season finale, or that it would be particularly exciting or really eventful. This could not be further from the truth. In fact, this trip was really boring. Nothing happened at all. The captain would wrap up his Paris trip and head back, but it wouldn't take long before he got bored and decided he needed another vacation. This time he decided to have a second go around at Iceland, because, the first time was wonderful for him.
Get away from me! Get away from me! You unemployed rat!
Now, I hate to be the bearer of boring news, but this trip was a nothing burger. If you remember, the first Iceland trip was rather eventful. He had his hat stolen, called someone an unemployed rat, and even made fun of immigrants. This time, however, he just drank. A lot. The only other things to happen was that he met Pay Money Wubby, and also apparently had his hat stolen for good. Other than that, he just spent his entire time in one bar, and then headed home after 2 days to get back to what he's best at, consuming alcohol. For many, this was the checking out points for World of T-Shirts. The first half of 2023 was really eventful, to say the least. And when you examine the Google Trends and stats for the World of T-Shirts subreddit, you see this is mostly true. All the big activity occurred sometime from January to about mid-June before taking a rather significant dive. Even searching the subreddit or TikTok for videos of his trip to Iceland bring up almost nothing of the second trip. To be fair, it was pretty boring, but it really goes to show you how little anyone cares when basically nothing of a trip was archived. That brings me to my main point for this paragraph, which is there will be skipping around. Why? Well, one thing is because things aren't well documented, like I just said, and two, because when I say that Josh has been stuck in a Groundhog Day style loop, I'm not kidding. He has just been drinking and drinking for months. Every day is the same for him. Wake up, take a drink some more, walk around, drink some more, maybe throw up, go home, come back, and drink more and more and more. That is this guy's entire life. He pretty much does nothing else except for a tour every once in a while.
I'm addicted, can never get enough.
In August, Josh would take his next big trip. This time he decided to head to 2 countries in one visit. First was Norway, and then was on to the Netherlands. Thankfully, unlike the second Iceland visit, this one had a little bit more meat to it. After landing in Norway, he would take a nap, and then after waking up and heading out, he was approached by some fans, and they seemed to hang out for a bit, but nothing really went anywhere due to this. And that was it for the first day. Once again, he didn't bring any luggage, so man was raw dogging an entirely different continent without an extra pair of underwear. Also, he used public transport while in Norway and made a video about it saying it was free. Not to burst this guy's bubble, but public transport isn't free in Norway, he just didn't pay. The next day on the 16th, things get really weird. Somehow Josh would meet up with a group of people who seemed to adhere to far-right ideologies, but they didn't really do anything. They just hung out in some kid's room and also ding-dong ditched a couple people, and that was it. After that, the Norway trip is done, and we go on to the Netherlands.
Wealthy people can afford to go on vacation every month. I do none of that!
While in Amsterdam, Josh would enjoy its many fruits, including Heineken, which he seemed to enjoy quite a bit. At some point during this trip, Josh wandered into the red light district of Amsterdam. If you don't know, prostitution is fully legal in the Netherlands, so Josh headed down there with the full intention of doing what you do in a brothel. So Josh went in, and in his own words said they put a condom on him before asking for 300 euros, so he ran out.
They put a condom on me, but they wanted, but then they tried to charge me more, so I ran out on her. They tried to charge me 300 euros for oral, so I just ran out on her.
It's worth noting that they only asked for that much money after the condom had been put on him. Though it does make sense in hindsight. The guy was wearing the same pair of underwear for days. Who wouldn't upcharge for that? After that, Josh claims he took truffles, which are the legal version of psychedelic mushrooms available in Amsterdam. This story is pretty unclear. He claims he did, but didn't feel anything, so either he just took a tiny amount or lied. And that ends the Norway-Amsterdam arc, in which some things happened, but really not that much. By now you might be seeing the trend that's going on here, which is to say, there's a serious lack of content. Josh rarely goes live anymore. He got tired of people stealing his hat or calling the bars he's at. Since those lives made up the majority of the funny moments that occurred, losing them has been detrimental for anything interesting occurring. And it's almost certainly one of the reasons why interest in him has dropped. Nothing happens anymore.
I wanna go home. Home.
After returning home to New York, he followed his same pattern of wandering the streets followed by spurts of drinking and vomiting, before deciding to fly out again less than a month after his last vacation. This time he headed to the wonderful state of Texas, and since everything's bigger in Texas, he foregoed any shots of Fireball and just went straight for the whole handle. You know you have a problem when you're drinking straight from the bottle outside of a Circle K. During this trip, he also hung out with some fans on their boat, and you'll actually never guess what they did there. Yeah, they actually played poker. Nah, I'm just kidding. They drank. Not just fit with alcohol, he also smoked some herb. I have to blur it, but I promise you that he did not smoke it correctly, and the chance of him actually feeling any effects from it are about 0. After 4 days of this, he was done, and headed back home to get himself back into the New York groove.
I'm back in a New York groove.
5 days later, and no, I'm not joking, he boarded a cruise. Keep in mind, this is coming from the guy who claims he never gets to go on vacations.
I do none of that!
Nothing happened here, by the way. He just drank. I am sorry to sound like a broken record, but this is genuinely all this guy does anymore. Once that was over, he went back to the Big Apple and followed his routine Groundhog Day schedule. In October of 2023, Josh decided he needed to head out to another city, and this time he chose Chicago. Now, this entire trip was uneventful except for one incident. You see, what happened here was Josh was taking up a lot of space on the sidewalk, causing the local residents to become displeased at this, and that's when this exchange happens.
Let's go!
We're going, Josh, we're going.
Let's go! Fuck you!
Fuck
you! Fuck you!
Fuck you too.
Yeah! You fucking with the middle class! You fucking with the middle class! How dare you!
Let's go, Josh, let's
How
go.
dare you!
That's crazy, Josh.
I'm calling customs, and I'm gonna ship you back to Mexico where you belong.
I don't think they're Mexican, Josh.
Now, who really knows what he meant by that? Like, what part of his alcohol-addled brain decided to tell 2 random people he was going to have them deported? After that was over, he went home.
Yeah! In New York!
At this point in the story, it's late October, and we need to introduce a new character to the scene. On Halloween of 2023, a new account called World of Alcohol Tracker would upload his first video, discussing the true depth of WorldofTShirts' alcohol addiction. Now, before I go further, please check out this guy's account. He has done great work at documenting every drink that we have seen on video. Anyway, these daily updates are insane. In November alone, Josh drank 457 drinks. He spent almost $2,000 and had an average alcohol blood count of 0.09. Altogether, he would spend only 100 hours out of 720 in the month of November sober, which is to say he spent about 4 out of 30 days with no alcohol in his system. If these numbers were every month, he would spend over $23,000 on alcohol alone. That's putting up Jackson Tucker numbers. I will point out the month of December was less than this, with the numbers coming out to about 300 drinks with a total spent of $1,500, but this is probably because he's begun to hide the drinks. Even though he has publicly claimed he's been drinking less, that's really not true, or doesn't appear to be. The reaction that this account has generated from Michael, Quinn, and Josh has been hilarious in its own right. This account really bothers both Quinn and Josh. First, Josh blocked the account, and then Quinn had like an obsessive meltdown about the guy.
So the drink tracker guy blew a goat. So the drink tracker guy tried to tickle my pickle. So the drink tracker guy wishes he was as rich as I am. He just sweats me. The drink tracker guy is Epstein's nephew. That's why the drink tracker is a total failure. Why doesn't he just mind his own business and count drinks of maybe someone he actually knows? As someone who is by far the most intelligent person in this discussion, and the only person that actually knows Josh in real life and is friends with him in real life, I have to say, Drink Tracker's record setting is giving Josh an objective. He's striving for higher numbers because of that. It's making himself feel a little better about his own addictions and his own faults. On top of that, he's making out financially. The Drink Tracker guy is using Josh for his own personal gain. Drink stats, they're off. But honestly, it's not the only thing that's off about this guy.
Yeah, now you see why I was saying that Quinn has a bit of an obsession with this guy. Anyway, Josh claims that this alcohol tracker guy was harassing him, and that's why he blocked him.
The drink tracker, you know, you're aware of it, right?
I'm aware of it. He's been bothering me.
Yeah, so you don't like it.
I blocked him on TikTok.
Yeah. His point of view though is he's trying to help. So you're saying it's not.
He's not trying to help. He's just bothering me all the time.
The interview that I just pulled the clip from was actually full of interesting bits of lore, so I'm going to quickly go over the entire thing and pull the best pieces I can find. First, we have Josh claiming that he has plans on finding a job, a claim he will make several times.
Another question is about finances, so he's thinking about getting a full-time job.
I'd like to find employment. I don't know how long my business is gonna be stable.
So let's talk future. So you're thinking employment.
I'd like to work at a hotel or something.
Here, Quinn claims he makes no money off of Josh.
One question that I think people, according to Quinn, a lot of people accuse you of is that you're making money off Josh. Can you talk through that?
None of that.
Not. I've been
I know that, but they don't.
The thing about Josh, if you know Josh as well as I do, if anyone's making money off him or he's giving money, he would let you know.
Here we have Josh claiming he's cutting down on his drinking. I really hope you like him saying this because he's going to mention it about 7 more times after this.
Cut down a lot. I don't drink 16 drinks a day anymore.
Yeah.
Cutting down my drinking a lot.
Yeah.
I drink nearly as much as I used to.
Yeah.
People are claiming it's off camera though. Do you want to address that?
I don't post all my drinks.
Right, so where
but
are we
I
at
make
now?
sure that I don't have too much to drink in one sitting. I don't drink as much as I used to. I detoxed for 2 days. I think I need to cut down on the drinking
You have to, man.
a lot.
Yeah.
Which I have. I don't drink as much as I used to.
Yeah, I mean, what would you say to the millions of people that are worried about you?
I said that I'm doing better. I'm not drinking as much.
Right.
I am doing much better. I only had 2 drinks today.
Yeah.
I'm not drinking so much.
Okay.
Like, I am trying to cut down. Yeah, I don't drink so much anymore.
Yeah.
I've cut back a lot. Cutting back on my drinking a lot. I don't drink nearly as much as I used to.
Yeah.
I don't drink nearly as much as I used to.
As 2 days ago?
I only really drink on weekends. I don't drink so much during the week anymore. It's not as bad as it used to be. I think, I do cut down. I don't drink nearly as much as I used to. I'm doing a much better job with the alcohol consumption.
Bring back the boba.
I don't drink so much anymore.
Yeah.
I'm cutting back significantly. I don't drink nearly as much as I used to.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
We've heard enough about the drink. We get it. You're cutting it out.
Then we have a section about merch. Josh claims he's made about $400 off of his merchandise, and that after the interview is over, he's going to actually head over and pick up his check from his merch guy.
Then why not?
I gotta go to the office at 7 to get
the office, baby.
Get a check.
How big of a check are we talking?
Like $400.
And right, who facilitated the merchandise?
Wasn't me. He doesn't want to say who it is.
I can't. I can't.
But I have nothing to do with
because I
it.
signed a NDA agreement.
Got it.
I can't tell anybody who's involved.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds.
He also does have a new merch website, and it's very clear he had help with this one. If you compare his old website to his new one, the difference is night and day. This new one actually has designs for the shirts and not whatever this was.
If I have to go to rehab, I'll let you know.
Here we have Josh explaining why he doesn't go live anymore.
I've been banned from at least 4 bars because
of your fanfare? Or
I
because of your
go
drinking?
live and they start calling the place and they're like, you can't come back because.
And what are the people saying on the phone?
doesn't
Like, don't
stop
serve him,
r-
don't serve him?
That's
or?
what they say.
Make up things.
Something like
So
that.
you can't post live anymore because people will blow up your spot.
We finally get some context on the van incident.
Remember the yellow van incident?
Oh, yeah.
The guys called me a retard. They called
I'm
me.
sorry.
They talked about the fish stomping and I kicked their car.
Yeah.
And then one of the guys gets out of me and punches me. And then they FaceTime me later and they
You went crazy on them.
They FaceTime me a few minutes later and they threatened to kill me.
It's like Revenge of the
They
Nerds.
make death threats.
Yeah.
And then it wraps up with Josh asking to be paid.
Can you pay
Any other
me?
questions? Yeah, I'll pay you right now, man.
I gotta leave soon.
Yeah.
This interview is pretty revealing in Josh and the psychology of addiction. I am no expert, but you can find plenty of sources that indicate most addicts feel that they don't have a problem and that they can quit at any time. I feel this perfectly describes Josh, who doesn't really seem to understand that the drinking he does isn't normal, and that for even somebody of his age, this is really out of control.
Cutting down my drinking a lot.
Yeah.
In an article written in December of 2023, Josh is quoted as saying, "People keep saying I'm an alcoholic and that I should go get help, but I'm 22 years old. I'm just enjoying my life." He also said, "I don't drink as much as I used to. I've been cutting down for sure." When he was questioned about his family, he said this, "My father was an alcoholic and a drug addict. He's in rehab now. He's been in rehab for many years. He had a really bad drinking problem." This was then followed up by a question about quitting, where Josh said, "I just want to enjoy my young years. If I feel like I need help, I'll go to Alcoholics Anonymous." This article and this interview both really show the problems at play here. Josh has addiction in his family, and if you aren't aware, addiction can be partially genetic. In fact, research has suggested that these genes can account for about half the risk of alcoholism. This, paired with autism, which has also been shown to have a link to addiction, combines to create a really tragic but toxic cocktail of addiction. And really, it shows. Josh only turned 21 in 2022, and this spiral has been very quick and very bad. And it's not as if Josh is hanging out with friends while doing this, he's doing shots on the street and on the subway. Other than the interview, Josh took 2 more trips. First, he went to Miami for about a day. While he was there, he met up with an old friend, the yardstick drink that he grew to love in Vegas. After arriving back, Josh decided he wanted to do something new and fun for New Year's, so he decided to go on a 3-day bender.
I'm taking a 3-day bender just before New Year's.
With the start of the new year, Josh then headed for Indianapolis. This was probably because the tickets are cheap. I can't think of any other reason for him to go there. While he was there, he frequented some local bars, and then he actually went live for the first time in a long while. This live was pretty depressing. He got pretty candid and discussed his shakes from alcohol, which he seemed to find really funny for some reason.
I had the shakes again this morning. I was at that bar in West Lafayette and I was shaking the wine. I got the shakes again today. Most of my withdrawals have stopped. If I get drunk, it's probably a mild tremor here and there, mainly in my left hand. If it's just a mild tremor here and there, I can live with that. I don't feel like I need another drink.
Honestly, that's really it. The only thing left is to talk about the future, because the future is where things get dicey for Josh. Already his health is on the decline. Of course, that doesn't mean tomorrow he's just gonna like keel over, but he is doing damage to his body. You can already see some changes to him. He's got that puffy face associated with alcoholism. Now, he could probably continue on this path for years. The human body is really quite resilient, and alcoholics can get away with years of heavy drinking without significant side effects. There's also the question of his finances. Now, there was someone on the subreddit who has been keeping track, and as of his estimate, Josh made about $60K in 2023. Of course, that's not a confirmed number, as Josh has never explicitly stated how much he made in 1 year, but it's a pretty good estimate. Now, $60K is a good amount of money for what he's doing. I mean, the guy doesn't really work unless you count his tours, but I don't even know if you want to count those. Needless to say, that money's not going to last forever, which actually even Josh recognizes. It's why he was talking about getting a job in that interview, which is actually pretty smart, because at the time of this recording, TikTok has actually shut down its creator program and launched a new one called the Creativity Program, which only allows you to monetize videos that are a minute or longer, which means no more money for Josh for his short clips of him taking shots or something. I think this is why he was trying to do those captain in the kitchen cooking videos, so he could actually make some money on a longer video, but the series didn't go anywhere, so that seems completely defunct now. What's left for him is his cameo and his tours and his merch. Basically, I'm saying, as long as he maintains a decent level of interest from his antics, his finances will remain stable. But he might not be that interesting. He doesn't really do anything anymore other than drink, so we'll just have to see what the future holds. After that, it's the end of part 3. I don't have anything more to say. Except that if Josh does get more interesting again, I will be happy to make more parts. I'm just as interested in this guy as most of you are, so if he decides to go crazy again, then you'll see a part 4 soon enough. Other than that, thank you for watching. If you haven't already, leave a like, subscribe, do all the fun things, and also watch the other videos on my channel. Thank you and goodbye.